Your Majesty, Excellencies, dear Rebecca Greenspan, Mr. Torres Villa, Mr. Flores, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the timely invitation to speak with you today. The social and economic consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic are enormous. Global human development, a measure of progress that combines the world's education, health and living standards, is set to decline in 2020 for the first time in a generation. It is also widening inequalities. This is perhaps the most visible when it comes to gender inequalities. It is shocking that as the world went into lockdown, women and girls faced a 30% spike in gender-based violence in some countries. New data from the United Nations shows that because of COVID-19, for every 100 men aged 25 to 34 living in extreme poverty in the year 2021, there will be 118 women. So far, these numbers are projections. COVID-19 has not yet changed the future, but it has revealed the deep flaws in our present, more clearly, including the impact of gender inequalities in health, in education, in economic security, and in access to digital services. At the United Nations Development Programme, we are working with our UN partners to help countries tackle the social and economic impacts of this pandemic. Across the 170 countries where UNDP works, we see that digitalization provides a lifeline to people, businesses, jobs and livelihoods. Governments are turning to digital finance to provide vital cash transfers to people unable to leave their homes during the pandemic. The private sector, big and small, is turning to digital platforms to keep their businesses running. In Uganda, for example, UNDP joined forces with the online shopping platform Jumia Food to launch a new e-commerce platform to keep micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the informal trade sector afloat as the country went into lockdown. More than 60% of those who have signed up for it are women, young people and persons with disabilities. Or look to UNDP's Transforming the Future of Work for Gender Equality initiative that works to expand financial inclusion. As a result, nearly 1 million women who live on Pacific Islands, including many entrepreneurs, have gained access to financial services and digital agriculture tools. These examples illustrate what can be achieved at speed and at scale by accelerating digitalization transformation. It is time to harness that power for everyone, to end digital inequality and make digital the default, including by building affordable broadband connectivity, the nervous system of today's new civilization. I anticipate that our host today, the BBVA Microfinance Foundation, would agree just how important this is when it comes to financial inclusion. A new report by the UN Secretary-General's Task Force on Digital Financing and the Sustainable Development Goals argues that digital finance can direct investment towards women's empowerment for a fairer, more inclusive financial system. It can better enable all women to save safely, borrow cheaply, invest securely, and insure easily. Yet there are many barriers. In low and middle income countries, 433 million women are still unconnected. And women make up the majority of the world's unbanked. As such, women risk being increasingly excluded from the potential of the digital economy, especially as digitalization accelerates in the face of COVID-19 lockdowns. The United Nations has long recognized the importance of supporting financial inclusion. For example, the Pacific Financial Inclusion Program, run by UNDP and the UN Capital Development Fund, has enrolled nearly 1.4 million women in financial services. Now, UNDP is prioritizing gender-responsive social protection and women's economic recovery to drive the recovery of developing countries from the pandemic. That includes everything from linking women cooperatives and small producers to online marketing platforms in the Middle East, to utilizing digital tools to provide remote capacity building support to women farmers in Latin America and the Caribbean. And along with the United Nations Global Compact and the International Chamber of Commerce, UNDP has just launched a new initiative called Recover Better Together, a COVID-19 private sector global facility. It will prioritize helping women-led businesses to apply digital solutions to adapt to the new COVID-19 economy. In closing, the United Nations and UNDP are helping to put women and girls, their inclusion, representation, rights and protection at the center of all efforts to build forward better from COVID-19. We look forward to working with you and our partners to help realize that greener, more sustainable and more inclusive future. Thank you.